Hey Layla,
Hey David, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good.
Thanks for being here today. I know like we've been trying to do this for like weeks, but like scheduling was just off all the
It's
time.
okay. It's okay. It's because of me and my early bedtimes.
No, it's all good. But yeah, thank you for being here. This project means a lot to me and the song means a lot to me. So it means, and obviously you mean a lot to me. So I'm so glad you're here.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, so if you want to tell people a little bit about you, I mean, most of my fans should know who you are since we've worked together so many times. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, first off, I want to say I absolutely love the song. It
Thank
has
you.
been stuck in my head. um, okay, so I'm Laela Giovanna, and I am a singer, songwriter, and producer. I was originally from Philadelphia, and well, sorry, right outside Philadelphia. I can't claim Philadelphia. I'm in the suburbs of Philadelphia, but now I'm in New York City. And yeah, I'm just working on a lot of new content and putting out an EP soon. So yeah,
I'm
it's a little
so
bit
excited.
about.
I'm so excited for your EP, like honestly.
I'm excited too because it's not completed yet. So I'm like excited for that completion of it too. So I'm really excited to hear the whole thing too.
It's gonna be good. I already know. So
Oh, thank you.
yeah. So one of the things that I wanted to talk about, because I know like you and I were always like talking about, stuff that's happening in our lives and mental health and spirituality and just taking care of ourselves and stuff like that. Like I think since day one we've always talked about stuff like that.
Yeah,
So
our relationship started like so randomly, but it was like so perfect
yeah.
that we met, and like I feel like you understand things that a lot of people don't understand maybe about me. So it's a very cool friendship. So I'm very thankful for it.
Oh yeah, I keep telling like Amanda or like you whenever I see you, I'm like, literally the first thing we need to do is always like go get food or like do something whenever we meet up for the first time because we haven't met. Like it's been how long? Like 2 years now?
I think so. Yeah, it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be 2 years. So yeah, that's crazy. It's like yeah, one of my friends. Oh yeah, I never met him yet though. I feel like that tends to be a thing. I have like a lot of people that I'm like, oh yeah, and then I'm like, wait, I never met them before. But you're like at the top of the list because we talk so frequently, and like I feel like you know so much about me, and it's like, but I'm like, wait, we've never actually met. So
I know, literally, because it feels like in my brain, like I know you because like you're my friend that I've been with like physically, but I'm like, wait, no, it's all like electronic, but it's the same. It doesn't matter. So.
right.
But no, so like one of the questions that I wanted to ask you actually was kind of like about mental health and like um how it kind of like correlates with like your happiness. So like do you feel like society, specifically like as a woman and like a woman in music and like a female artist, do you feel pressured to like um I guess like the best way to say it is like forcibly portray yourself as like the happiest version of Layla so that like like it's I guess like you're easier to swallow because you like how sometimes like you have those people who go like, oh my gosh, like why does she have to post that picture because like she has stretch marks, or like why does that girl have to post a picture of her in this, but it's like she's just being body positive or something. Like do you feel like that with your music or your photos or anything like that?
Are you kind of basically saying like that I always have to, I guess, showcase like a perfect side and like something that's always like happy and never like the
Yeah,
downfalls
just like
in my.
yeah, like a version of yourself that is like I guess like unrealistically happy. Like if every photo is you just like, oh yeah, had a great day today. Every day is perfect or like whatever. Like those Instagram accounts you come
Right,
across
right.
where it's just like, wow, they look perfect and there's like no imperfections and blah blah blah. Like do you ever feel
Right.
like you need to upkeep or ever at one point felt like you needed to upkeep something like that?
Right. I would definitely if I sit here and I'm like no, like I would be lying. So of course I feel like I still kind of struggle with that now. because there has been times where it's like weeks have gone by and I may be going through what's the word of like weeks when I'm like dealing with either depression or anxiety, or there was a time, I guess a few months ago, that I was like consistently having panic attacks multiple times a day, would wake up with them, would go to sleep with them. And I felt like on social media, I couldn't say anything about it because people would be like, oh, she's complaining, like she has nothing to be anxious about. She has nothing to, feel sorry. They would think I'm feeling sorry for myself. So during that time, I do remember just continuing to post and kind of put on like a mask that, oh, I'm happy, I'm fine. Like it got to the point where like I didn't hardly even told friends or anything. I was just, because I felt like I didn't want to be a bother on anyone, and I didn't want to look like I needed I didn't want to look like I was trying to get attention or anything like that. So I just, I kept it to myself. And then I definitely tried to portray like a very happy person when really I was like breaking down and that, feeling like I was holding on by like strings. So
wow, that's crazy you said that, and thank you for sharing that, because like I know it's hard to talk about stuff like that, but you know, it's crazy because I feel like with stuff like that, it's like half our fault because like we are kind of doing it to ourselves in a way, but it's also like society and like social media's fault because like I remember feeling like social media and like the at least the society around me made me feel like I can't be vulnerable because that's making, like, if I'm vulnerable, it's going to come off as, oh, he's trying to, make people feel sorry for him so that he can get clout or something. And I'm like, that's ridiculous. Like, and so then that made me feel afraid to be, honest with my emotions and like honest in my music and stuff like that. Cause I'm like, oh my God, if people hear me talking about being sad, they're just going to be like, oh, he's looking for attention or blah, blah, blah. Or he's trying to make like mental disorders look cool or something. And I'm like, that's not what I'm trying to do. So I'm right there with you. Like I had to get over kind of myself, but also like what the constructs and like boundaries that the like boundaries that society has like set for us, that like being vulnerable and being like, asking for help and stuff like that is like weakness when it's actually just like a strength. So, because it takes a lot of like work to ask for help. Like I hate asking for help. Like I was talking to Amanda yesterday. Um, she had asked, I forgot what it was. It was like something like music related. And she was like, oh, did you ask this person? And I was like, no, because I don't want to ask for help. And she was like, David, you need to start asking for help. You can't do everything by yourself. I was like, I know, I'm just so used to doing everything on my own. So like, I completely understand.
you feel like I get it. Like you feel like if you like reach out for help, it's like you're kind of what's the word? I don't know how to explain it, but you're kind of like, I don't know. Do you know what I mean? I know I can't articulate it, but
Like it's like it's making you look less capable.
yeah, you feel kind of less of yourself in your
Mm-hmm.
image. That's exactly, yeah. I don't know why I can think of that.
I feel that.
Yeah, but I mean, there comes a time where you need to, or you will break. And like I was saying, I think that was what I was doing during that time where I was dealing with so much anxiety, is I was just putting so much pressure on myself that eventually I just broke, and I needed time to get, pick myself back up and get out there. But I do wish during that time maybe I wasn't as trying to be happy. Like I didn't portray that as much. I should have maybe been a little more real about that, but I'm still trying to figure out how to do that and how to still feel comfortable for myself. Like how can I still feel comfortable while talking about that? That's tends to be a little difficult for me on my social media.
Yeah. And because I know like even in the like almost 2 years that I've known you, like I've seen you grow like so much, like since I've met you. Like honestly, you seem like a completely different person, because like, I was, even though I wasn't like physically there to see you change and like evolve, like I virtually have seen you evolve.
Like
So
a virtual plant.
yes, honestly, like you're my virtual Laela plant. But no, like, so like what do you think are some of the things that have helped like contribute to your happiness and like overall mental well-being?
Um, Lots of things. So I would say like something now that we spoke about this the other day, but I'm going through right now a breakup that you helped me too. We talked about it, and you were really there to give me good advice. And you talked to me when I was like in those days right after the breakup, when I was super vulnerable and like you're just so upset, you just never think you're gonna be happy again.
Yeah.
So I didn't I didn't realize like now I am at a happier place because I took that time to heal. And for me, that was about letting myself, cry for the time I needed to be and let myself feel whatever I needed to feel. But then it was taking a different look on it and being like, okay, this is, a chapter in my life. That chapter has closed now and I'm moving on.
Yeah.
And during that time of realizing that, I spent a lot of time just learning about the mind and how the mind works and emotions. I was reading a bunch of different books, and I got really into really practicing meditation. And I've been meditating for years, but within these couple months, since like the breakup and everything, I really got into meditating, and that has helped me tremendously. And so I would say back to your question. So meditation is a huge one for me. I would say in the morning. I don't know if I ever told you this one it's great too. In the morning when I wake up, I do not check social media probably for about 2 hours.
Wow.
Yeah, because I was listening to a podcast and they were saying, when you wake up, you should be proactive, not reactive. And when you're getting up and looking at your phone, your notifications, you're being, reactive. You're not proactive. And rather than, waking up and meditating and doing a gratitude journal and stuff like that. So that's been something that I've been doing and trying to be very disciplined on. And it really has helped my mental health, because I feel like when you wake up, that's the most impactful time to set the tone for your day. So that's been something. And then, just practicing self-care. And if I'm getting too overwhelmed with things, I'll take a step back, breathe, and then go maybe do something else, whether that's take a walk, maybe watch my favorite show, maybe listen to music, play music. So yeah, I have different coping techniques.
For sure.
Yeah. So that's what I would say that has been something that helps me deal and cope with my mental health and all that.
That's really cool. I wish I could say I'd do that. Like, my phone is the first thing I grab every morning. One, because it's my alarm, even though I have an alarm clock, but it's purely decorative because it's made of wood. So I don't use it. But yeah, literally, like the first thing I see is my phone. And I think it's because I use it as my alarm. Because if I didn't, I feel, because the first thing I do, I wake up and I sit there and I literally stretch in my bed. Because like I know if I don't, like I'll be like sleepy for like 3 hours after and not wake up. And then I just go take a shower and then just like go do something else. But because I use my phone as my alarm clock, first thing I go on is like Instagram, Facebook. I see if I got any messages and I start like thinking about what I'm gonna post or like whatever. And I'm like, ugh, I just woke up. Like,
And does that make you a little anxious, like thinking back to that now? Like it probably does. Because like you're when you wake up, like let's just say like you see something, I don't know, someone's like doing something and you see it on your phone when you wake up and you're like, oh my God, like I'm in bed still, like now I'm feeling bad about myself.
yeah.
So it's something that like there has been times so like I don't want to sit here and be like, oh my God, I'm perfect at this. Like no, there's times where I probably did it last week one day. But those days that I've done that, I've realized the shift in my mood. So it's made me even more disciplined to not want to look at my phone, because like I want to feel that happiness. Like I want to be happy. So it's making me think I just thought pay to be happy.
Yeah, it's gonna tie into everything. But no, that's I think, you know, I mean, obviously, like, we're gonna slip every now and then, but that's really cool that you do that. I really need to start doing that. I don't know why I haven't, but it's like it's so stupid because like the things that are so easy, like you don't think to do them, and like when you
Right.
don't, like you're just like fucking yourself up for like a really long time, and then it takes like just from that little mistake, like there's just like 1,000 repercussions that you have to like heal from later on. So
Yeah, isn't that crazy? Like I was thinking about that the other day. Like when you do something that's like, yeah, how you were saying, like you do one thing and it's like you have to. It takes you a while to heal for them. When you do that, like let's just say toxic thing,
mhm,
your negative emotions hit you right back. But when you do those positive things, you need to do them for like a while to feel the effects for it. I was thinking about that. I was like, that's so crazy. It's how that works. Like to feel positive again after all that negativity and stuff. Like you really have to work at it. It's not just like, oh, let me listen to a positive podcast and I'm as happy as ever. It's so much more than that. Like it could take like sometimes weeks from a situation for me to like bounce back and be in my positive state again. So it just goes to show you how like sacred and how sensitive your mental health is.
for sure. And it's crazy too because I didn't start getting into mental health until like probably right around maybe when I met you, I think. Because I think to me, like when I would hear mental health, it kind of sounded like some sort of, I've said this before to like some of the other artists, but like some sort of like hippie cult thing. Like, I don't know, like some people would be like, oh yeah, I'm into my mental health and I like do self-care and like yoga and meditation. I'm like, oh, it sounds like some hippie weirdo stuff. And so then when I like actually looked into it, I was like, oh, they just care about their brain and like their mental health. Like literally, that's what the word is. And so I was like, I'm so stupid for being one of the people who like made it taboo and like stigmatized it. I was like, it's literally just like caring about your like well-being. And I was like, why did it take me so long to figure that out? So that's why one of the reasons why I was so glad I studied philosophy, because like studying that kind of made us, at least me, realize like um we're the controllers of, you know, our lives, and we decide, you know, what can make us happy and like what we want to strive for and what's important to us and what isn't. And you know, we control how we react to things and the things that we allow into our spaces and stuff like that. So I think that studying like all those types of concepts like really helped me get into like caring about my mental health. And then on top of that, like learning that I have like anxiety and all that stuff, I was like, that helped answer a lot of questions about the way I was feeling for a long time and stuff like that. So yeah, I think mental health is just so important. And even though I feel like a lot of people are talking about it, but it's very like, I feel like mental health has become like almost like an aesthetic. Like people are just like, oh my God, self-care, but like it's not actually caring about your mental health. It's like posting a picture of you and your bath bombs on Instagram. I'm like, that's yeah, sure, that's like making you feel good, but like I'm
I feel like
talking
that's like Instagram self-care. It's
exactly.
not of course like a bath is I wish I could take a bath here in my apartment, but I don't think it's like yeah, I wouldn't take a bath in my bathtub that I have here. Maybe when I go home to visit my family. But yeah, like I get what you mean. Like it's kind of like it's Instagram. It's not like reality self-care. Like self-care is kind of what you're doing behind the camera and things that you don't need to videotape or take a photo of. Like it's cool to take photos of it. Like I do that too, but like you want to make sure you're doing it for the purpose of actually caring about that little voice in your head rather than just like getting some likes on Instagram.
For sure. And I completely get it because I remember sometimes like I'll go through like Instagram and even though it's kind of like separate, it's still related. Like when celebrities or like artists, you know, who have a big following, like they don't post when they're going through something like really important to them, like when they're having a child or if they're going through divorce or if they're like, you know, writing something new or whatever, and they kind of go silent. Like I think what they're doing is like taking time for themselves and like doing what you did when you said what you said you do, like when you wake up is like just not checking, like not reacting, but just like living in the moment and experiencing everything. I feel like that's the best thing to do, because sometimes like I want to talk about mental health so much that I feel like I need to take pictures of myself, like, going to my doctor or whatever. But I'm like, no, I think I should just enjoy those things and like take care of it in the moment, and then like talk about it like later so that like other people can learn from it. Because I feel like as artists specifically, like we are there to inspire people and to like help the world, like help people find the light in a dark world. I think that's our job. And
Right.
for us to do that, I feel like we have to find our own, because I think we're always so like give, give, give. We never like take time to just like sit and like have it for ourselves. So I think that's
Right.
really
Right. Like,
important.
I think taking time to like enjoy what we've created and not worry about like getting it out there all the time. But on the flip side, like I know we were saying like, yeah, not posting everything on Instagram, but on the flip side, sometimes it is really good because there's people that might need to see that because they need inspiration to meditate or to go see a therapist or something like that. So inspiration or guidance to do that. So sometimes it is good, like using social media to post those times where we're doing mental health things because it could help someone else.
Right. For sure. I completely agree. Yeah, it's so crazy. Like mental health is just like a whole box of stuff. Like it's so crazy.
All different.
Um,
I know it's such a complex thing. And I wanted to ask you,
mhm.
you studying philosophy, like I'm sure your approach to it was a lot different because you had a background of it. You weren't just coming from like not really knowing much of about how the mind works and all that. I felt like you probably had a better understanding of it and were probably more open to it. Would you say that?
Open to
Like
mental health.
open to, yeah, open to like the whole, I because I know you're saying at one point you weren't like you were kind of like against it, like because you didn't really understand it, but like I'm sure once you understood it you're probably a lot more open to it because of your past knowledge with philosophy and everything.
Hmm. Yeah, no, for sure. It really did open me up, because like philosophy is literally just like the definition of it is just like the study of knowledge. And so there's not really a bad way to do philosophy. So, but there's so many aspects to it. But at the end of the day, it's like the good parts of philosophy, because there are some bad ones out there, like, like just like stupid, like racist people and stuff from the past who tried to start movements and whatever. But like not those people, but like the good ones that I've studied. It's all just about like, finding your place and like just being a good person, and um, just like seeking happiness, whatever that means to you, and just like literally just like the simple things that like you like people say maybe sometimes, but you don't really act on until like, but when you do, you realize, oh my God, it was so simple, but it was like I would have never thought. Like that's kind of what philosophy is. It's just like it's so crazy. Like I sound like a weird, like old, like I sound whenever I talk about philosophy, I probably sound like those old people in the movies who are just like, I'm here for the wisdom, like just listen to me. But
Oh, no, 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 not at all. I've been reading, recently I got into reading, I don't want to butcher his name, Tikna, and I can't think of his last name. I'm going to butcher it. Do you know, he was a monk. And I got into reading some of his books and they just totally opened my eyes to things. Cause like you were saying, like the basic principles, just be a good person, put that good out there, put that good energy out there, and really connect with yourself and realize that we're all here, we're all on the same level. And it's like a lot of people, I think that's why it's gotten so difficult, like dealing with mental health, is because nowadays like we've forgotten those simple things of just being a good person. Stop comparing yourself, stop thinking you're better than everyone else. And those things have just made us feel like so insecure about ourselves that we've lost ourselves because of society. Society does that. They want you to feel like you're incomplete so you can buy into their products and all that stuff. So when you're saying like about philosophy and stuff like that, like you don't sound crazy, because I'm like, I've been doing a bunch of reading, and it's similar on the books I've been reading what they're talking about. So yeah, now I'm like saying it, I'm like, I probably just sound crazy what I just said, because I don't even understand what I just said.
No, it's all good.
You understand. I know you understand. So
I
hopefully
do.
the listener understands too.
No, but yeah, we're pretty much on the same page when it comes to all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So actually, one of my questions that I thought was really interesting to ask everyone, is, do you feel like, because to me the way I see happiness is, you always, whether it's good or bad, you always have to sacrifice something for happiness. So like, for example, like I got a lollipop today and it made me happy. It was like 80 cents, but like I had to give
Wait,
up
hold on. What, you broke up a little bit. What is that?
a lollipop. Like
Oh,
I
okay.
like, so it ties into my question, I promise. But so like, to me, like the way I see happiness is, you kind of have to give to get. And so like, for example, to get this lollipop, which I decided would make me happy when I was in line to get like my battery checked for my car, like I was like, oh, if I get this lollipop, I'm going to be happy. And I got it and I was, but what I gave up to get my happiness was 85 cents. So like, do you feel like you've given up certain things, whether it's good or bad, to be happy? And if so, like what things do you think you've sacrificed to achieve the happiness that you have now?
It's a good question. You were talking about food, and I went right to Shake Shack. Like, let me see if there's anything I can like intertwine with that. On a serious note, I would say something that I've been trying to do now and incorporate into my daily routines is I had a bad habit of, like getting frustrated with whether I'm working on a song, or I don't know if I'm doing, it's usually something music related, and I'll get frustrated, like, oh, I can never do this. I'll like just self-sabotage myself. And then usually when I get in those ruts, what I'll do is like, I'll turn on a Netflix show, which is fine. But then instead of watching maybe one episode, I'll end up like binge watching. And then I feel like I'm just taking away, because then after I do that, then I feel guilty for doing that. So something, going back to my point, something I've been trying to do is, when I get those moments, whether I'm working on a song and it's just not sounding right, take a moment, take 15 minutes, take 20 minutes, and maybe read a book that's productive, or maybe meditate, something that's productive and that will make me happy. Because that TV, that Netflix, it's just like a quick fix. It's like it's a quick fix. It's like, okay, I feel good and I'm watching it, but then I'm gonna feel bad again because I didn't really get to the root of what I'm unhappy about. So I feel like to be happy, it's like giving up maybe that fix, whether it be Netflix, or I don't know, some people maybe going out on the weekend and getting drunk every weekend, stuff like that. And like, maybe instead of doing that, maybe like staying home a day on the weekend and like meditating, doing self-care. So stuff like that. I feel like for me, I've just been trying to identify what those things are, whether it's Netflix or sometimes even food. But I mean, that's a hard one for me, because we all know how much we love food. And we have to eat, so it's like, it's okay.
Yes.
But I've just been working on like, trying to avoid those quick fixes just to feel happy temporarily, and maybe give up something that is a quick fix to have that longer happiness and that more sustainable happiness, if that makes sense.
I feel you. Yeah, that's a good point. I never thought about that, because I feel like the things that are the best for you are the ones that give you like sustained like happiness, like over time, like like friendships, or like life conditions, or like living conditions, or stuff like that. Like I think things like the important things, that's what gives us like happiness, longevity, I guess. So
yeah, like true happiness rather than just like materialistic happiness.
Right. Yeah, like my lollipop, because it'll go away once it's gone. So
That's me, and not like a bad thing. A habit I have is clothes, like buying things that buying clothes. Like, do I really need like 10 new pairs of sweatpants? No, but it makes me feel better in the moment. And then like a week later, I look at my credit card bill and I'm like, now I feel even worse than before I bought the clothes. So, into your question, that's what I'm working on, and giving up those kind of things to, get longevity happiness.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy to think about. Yeah. That's the goal, to be happy for like over long periods of time. Because I mean, obviously, we can't be happy all the time, which I think I have to keep reminding myself. Like, I say it a lot, but sometimes I forget because I'm like, oh, like whenever like my anxiety kicks in and I have like an episode, or if like I have a bipolar episode and I just like am in bed or just like in my house and I just feel like super down or whatever, I'm like thinking about all the other people who are like so much happier than me or who don't have anxiety or any of these other things. And I'm like, oh my God, like cut yourself a break. Like you do a lot, you go through a lot, and those people aren't you. And it's like, not in a way it's like, oh my gosh, nobody's like me. It's like, nobody's like me in the fact that like we all go through different things. And like, I can't define my struggles by the way you handle yours or anything like that. So,
Right. And we're all like a different, like, I like the analogy, like we're all like a wave, like we're basically all waves in the ocean. So sometimes like when someone's having that up wave, we're on the down wave.
uh-huh.
So that's what I like that's what I think about all the time. So it's okay to have those moments, and like not be too hard on yourself, because those moments make you into the person you are, and then you're able to use that to inspire others and help them. So yeah, like really, like when those moments happen, I completely understand, because they've happened to me like all the time, and they will happen in the future. But I think just being noticing that they're not bad things, they're just kind of like a little bump, and that we're gonna get back on the wave again. And
That's a good way to see it. Yeah. I feel like there's so many ways to view it, but as long as you just do it in a way that's like conducive to you, like your mentality and like just healthy, I feel like there's not really a wrong way to go about it.
I agree.
Um, One of my questions actually is kind of relating to what I was talking about kind of like being hard on yourself about like happiness and like kind of those moments where you sometimes look at other people and I don't know if it's like a sense of jealousy or just a sense of like this like momentary disdain. I don't know. Maybe it's just because like whenever I get my episodes, like everything sucks. But like, do you feel like because sometimes I like I've been suffering from like really bad imposter syndrome lately where and I'm not saying like everything I'm about to say it's not to be like, oh look at me, I'm booking shows and blah blah blah. It's like fuck that. I'm not even like that.
Yeah.
But like, you know, I've been booking shows and like I'm about to put out a bunch of music and you know, I've been like on paper doing better than I was like a few months ago. And lately I've just sometimes would be like, I don't deserve this. Like maybe I'm just lucky and like in a month, like um, I'll lose everything. Like I do that to myself. I've been doing that a lot to myself lately. And like sometimes I feel like I don't deserve anything that I have. And then I just start spiraling and I won't work on music for like a few days or like I'll stay up at night and like think about maybe I'll just be a doctor or something. But do you feel like you deserve happiness and like what is your experience with like your feelings towards like um you're deserved like or yeah, is that the way to ask it? Yeah. Like do you feel like you deserve happiness right now?
um yes, but I know exactly like what you mean, and it's kind of like when you feel like everything's going too good, and like why is this happening to me, like this should be happening to someone else, like why me.
Yeah.
You I think it goes back to questioning your self-worth. If you're
Mm,
not, it's like you're not respecting yourself, like you're not holding yourself up. Like I'm sure like you would never think of that way about your friends or your mom or your siblings. Like you wouldn't think about that, and like we shouldn't think about ourselves that way, but we do. um but I do believe, especially now with everything that I've just been reading and learning and all the new things I've been doing. Right now, I can say that yes, I do believe that I deserve happiness because I believe we all deserve happiness. I sound totally hippie right now, but like I believe that we all do. Like we shouldn't we shouldn't feel like, oh, like someone better should be getting this. Like I think once we figure out like our self-worth and treat and love us like ourselves as much as we love other people, and like I don't know, sometimes you think about like if you gave yourself the love and respect that you give to like people that you love, friends, family, you would be like, can you imagine like how like happy you would be? Like that's
That's
just like
true.
something that I like to think about, is like try to treat myself like I would treat my sister or my mom or my friend or something like that. Like I would never, talk bad about them or want to hurt them or make them feel like they're less than themselves. So why am I doing it to me?
That's true.
So
Wow.
yeah.
I need to start thinking like that. It's so hard though, because like
I'm gonna watch this back when I'm like all negative. I'm gonna be like, look, you're being so positive. It's been years in the making to get the mindset. And I owe it all to back when I was 17, 18, and we talked about that I had these two major surgeries and everything, but I had my PT, his name was John Barbas. I owe it all to him. He was the one that knew my mind before I even knew my mind. The way he trained me to recover from these surgeries was just, it was like a miracle, because the type of surgery it was so intense. Like, they took out muscles, they took out bones, and it was a long recovery. But the way he trained me, not only physically but mentally, he just opened my eyes to everything, and he just showed me how the mind works. And it took me, even like when I was he's retired, we still keep in touch all the time, but even when I was um you know training and going to PT with him, he I didn't even understand all of it yet. It took me to, I would say, like now within this year, like 2020 and 2021, that I've been like really understanding how powerful the mind is with just everything in life. So yeah, so like going back to like being like, oh, you're like, oh, I wish I had the mindset. Like it has taken me so long. Like there was times where I would put myself in a corner like every other week, and I would spiral down for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks, and I was just so negative to myself. um so it's taken me a long time to get to where I am now, and I'm sure I'm not gonna be like, oh, this is like, I'm gonna be happy for the rest of my, no, like I'm sure like I'll probably call you in a month. Oh my gosh, David, I'm like having so much anxiety right now. I'm like being really negative, like, and then I'll just rewatch this video and tell myself to knock some common sense into myself, and life just happens. So I think the important part is just noticing it, like noticing when you're doing that negative self-talk,
yeah.
and noticing it is like half of the battle. Once you notice it, like, and you want to change it, then the ball's in your court.
Yeah, I feel like I still have to grow into that, because like I would say I'm like 65% there. Like, because I don't hate myself or anything, or like I guess deep down I know I deserve happiness, but I don't know, like sometimes, and I really don't care what people say about me, unless they're the people that I care about, or people who like are seeing me from like an objective point of view. But I don't know, sometimes I just get so caught up in like the way people might be seeing me, that I'm like, why are you concerning yourself with things that might be happening when they're not happening at all? Like, ugh, I don't know. I just
So,
need to get over it.
let me ask you, is it weird for you when you get like these fans, that comment on your music? They're like, oh my God, I love you. Like, how does that feel to you? Like, is it, how do you feel like when you see those? Or now, like, think about it when you start, after post pandemic, and you start touring, like, and someone comes up to you and they're like, oh my God, David, I love you, like, and like fangirls right there, like, how
Yeah.
would that make you feel? Like, because it will happen. So like, how does that make you feel?
So I actually had thought about this a few days ago. So like literally when I started getting fans, first of all, I was like, maybe they're following me because they feel sorry for me. Like, I don't know. Like, it was so weird. And then, as I started growing and people like started, you know, seeing me more and more, and I started getting more of like a following, um, like fans would start reaching out. And now I actually regularly talk to like 4 or 5 like of my biggest followers and supporters. And they're like the sweetest people. And they're kind of helped me like realize that they care about the message, and that's kind of like what I have to focus on, because I'm like, that's why I'm doing this, is to like to communicate a message and to like help people, with their problems and feel like they're less alone and stuff like that. So I feel like if I were to start touring, and like doing like live shows and like a bigger scale, I'd have to kind of focus on those people that I'm like, okay, everyone here is like that. Like, everyone here is for David Diaz, like the person, and not David Diaz, like the brand or whatever. Cause I'm like, even though, yeah, technically we do have to brand ourselves a certain way because that's the business and whatever. But like, at the end of the day, like, I don't like the artists that I like because of how they brand themselves. I like it because of their message and like what they talk about and the things that they support. Um, and that's kind of what I hope I will tell myself in the future, because I know like where I'm at now, if someone says, hey David, you got a record deal, let's book you tomorrow, I will get on that stage and I will be like, I'm so sorry whoever paid you to be here, you guys can leave. Like, I will literally tell them like, I'm not, like, I'm the imposter, like, just go home. Like, I don't
No, well, I'll have to talk to Amanda because you're not allowed to do that. And I'm gonna be that little that fangirl, and you come to New York, I'm be like, oh my God, David, we'll find.
Honestly, you'll just be backstage like with the Shake Shack caterer.
We could do like the catering Shake Shack.
Yes. Oh my God. Yeah. I would hope honestly that when that happens, that I'll be in a better like place where I can just appreciate everyone on like a human level and stop thinking so much about like myself, not in like a selfish way, but in just like a kind of, I don't even know how to explain it, like, because I was thinking about it when I was performing. I forgot where I was, but um I don't know. It's like, I feel like if I were to be on stage and like see like, hundreds of people looking at me, I would get this overwhelming sense of, oh my gosh, they're all looking up to me, or like they're expecting a lot from me. I feel like it'll be overwhelming, but hopefully I'll be able to like channel that and turn it into something positive. So
the bigger crowds are better because you can't make anyone out. So, and then perfect for me, I never wear my glasses, so I can't see. So sometimes, like, people will be like, oh yeah, you were looking at me like during that. I'm sorry, I can't see you. So, I mean, do you wear glasses?
I'm wearing contacts right now, but my glasses are somewhere in here.
Maybe don't wear the contacts for like that first time, so then you won't see anyone.
Oh no, if I don't wear my contacts, I think I'm legally blind. Like, I will.
Oh, okay, so you really, okay. I can get with it, but okay, you really need your glasses.
Yeah, like if I don't have my glasses, I can't drive.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
I don't think
it's
I'm
bad.
drive, but I can still see, but I'm not that. I'm not. So yeah, never mind. Keep your glasses on, but you'll be fine. I feel like when that performance does come, like, you'll have been practicing for that moment all the way till then. So definitely don't stress yourself out about it. And I think the most important thing is just being in the present, because if you're in the present, you're not freaking out about anything. You're not worrying about your past, and you're not worrying about the future. Yeah. So just stay in the present, and you'll be good.
That's true. And thank you. I appreciate that. Like, literally some of the things you brought up have been like so helpful. I'm like, oh my God, I didn't think about that. It's funny because before I like earlier today, like at 1 o'clock, you know Victoria Monet? Like,
Oh yeah, yeah, yes, of course.
yeah, she went live on Instagram like 3 hours ago, and one of the things that I caught when she was talking about performing, like people were just asking her questions, and she was like, because she was oh, she was waiting for the premiere of her new music video to go live on Facebook, sorry, YouTube, and she was talking about how she was nervous for the video to come out, but then she started talking to us about like, oh, being nervous is just a sign to show that you care. And I was like, oh wow, I never thought about that. Because it's true, like when I get nervous, like my main thing is I don't want to let anybody down. And I want to make sure that I'm being like the best that I can be. So I think that's a good thing that I learned from her in like 30 seconds. But yeah.
Yeah, no, even like I know, like talking to you, it was about like I want to say 2 months ago. We were on the phone till like 3 a.m. and we were just having this like very deep spiritual conversation. I won't get into everything because we'll be here for like 5 hours. But like it really opened my eyes to like a lot of things, and so I mean I appreciate that too. Like it's funny because just like talking to the same people, you never know. Just like certain days, certain things they say, certain things you hear, it just like hits you a different way maybe that day, and you're like, wait, I never thought about it that way, and it kind of changes your perspective of things. So I think it's all just a big learning process.
For sure. But yeah, that's pretty much all I had to talk about. I think we covered a lot of really good stuff. Like that was really helpful. Like I feel better now.
It felt like a nice therapy session.
It did. I feel like I should do this a lot more. Like I should make this a regular thing.
And oh my god, I would love like on like an Instagram thing, like just doing like a live series.
Yeah, like maybe I can do this on my Instagram, like whenever I have, maybe not just like a new release, but maybe like every other month or something. I can do like an artist like checkup thing. I think that'd be cool. I don't know. I'll look into
Dr. David.
it. Ew, no, I don't want to do that. Oh God, the sad part is that it sounds like it could be a thing, but like I don't want that.
You just when you just said checkup, my mind just went right to like a doctor.
Oh my God, that's too funny. But I really think
I had a lot of I do feel a lot better and
yeah.
inspirational. I'm like thinking about what I'm gonna go eat now.
Yeah, we should be good from now on about the things that we decided to
Right.
with our food. But is there anything you have coming up that you want to tell everybody about?
Yeah, just I think I had mentioned it in the beginning, my EP. That's just I can get into that and how much anxiety that has given me, because at one point I was like, it has to be this way, it has to be this way. And then finally I'm at that point where now I'm just like, I'm going to create what I feel comfortable with, what I really feel is going to speak. That's what I'm going to put on it. So I'm in a good place with it right now, and I'm excited about that. And then just a bunch of new things that are in the works right now that haven't maybe got to the surface yet, but they're just like, shimmering or whatever that word is.
Seriously, thank you so much for being here. Like, you mean a lot to me. Like, you're one of my favorite people.
Oh, you as well.
Thank you. And I really value your opinion, and I love you as an artist, and like you're just an awesome person. So thank you for talking about, your experiences and your mental health, struggles, because it's as crazy as it is, like it's hard to talk about, like because like I said, a lot of people make you feel like talking about your weaknesses is a weakness, and I'm like, it's really not, because when you talk about them you realize them. So you doing this and me doing this, I feel like is helping, or could help, if not one person, like even more. So thank you so much.
Of course, and I feel the same exact way about you. So thank you for having me and having this conversation.